you slam on the door, leadership. Now, some things that happen in church for me can be very different for another TransMormon. It's called leadership roulette. One bishop in this town could say one thing to a TransMormon, and one bishop cannot speak, and one bishop over here could say a completely different thing. So basically, because we don't have like an official stance or policy or revelation come down from the leaders of the church, from God, because we really don't have much or anything for that matter, local church leaders, it's really kind of left up to them as to how they treat a TransMormon in their ward or in their stake. I've been really blessed with leaders who have just been really affirming and kind and caring and just wanted to help me worship the best that I can. And I realize that there are other TransMormons who are not as fortunate. So some trans men like me are allowed to go to church in a suit and a tie. There are some trans women who are allowed to go to church in a dress. But then there are other trans Mormons who are not allowed to dress the way that they want to dress. So it's really just up in the air, it's not set in stone. Every trans Mormon's experience in the church is very, very different. And really, all trans journeys are different. They don't all look the same. Some transgender individuals don't ever go on hormones. Some don't ever have any surgeries. Me, I've been on testosterone for over a year and I had top surgery. Sometimes it's because they're not allowed because of local church leaders. This is specifically towards trans Mormons. Sometimes they just don't want to or don't feel like they need to. Some trans Mormons stay in the church. Some trans Mormons leave. Some are kicked out. I think a common misconception about trans people is that we're cross-dressers. And I think what that is because that's come about because when somebody is at the very beginning of their transition or they don't pass as their preferred gender, people will just look and they look at the surface and they see a cross-dresser, which that's not who we are, that's not what we are. I know I got weird looks when I first started transitioning because people couldn't tell if I was a girl or a boy, or they knew that I was a girl dressing up as a boy, and that wasn't, and that in their eyes, that's what they saw, a girl dressing up as a boy. But really, it was me trying to be myself, because for 21 years, I was dressing up as a girl and putting on makeup and growing out my hair, trying to fit in. But now I'm being myself. So it's hard because there are a lot of trans individuals who don't pass and they're judged based on that. And that's not fair. Someone wanted me to address hope for the future. I'm a really optimistic person, probably too optimistic, but hey, everybody needs one of those optimistic, overly optimistic friends. You guys, I really do think there's hope. When I was writing down all my notes for this video months ago, that was before the Mormon and Gay website came out, there was a section in there where there was a question asked, why doesn't this website address transgender Mormons? The church has finally acknowledged that LGB is separate from the T. They're completely separate. That LGB is based on sexual orientation. The T, transgender, that is gender identity. That's who we are. That has nothing to do with sexual orientation. And so finally the church has separated us from the LGBT community. And that is huge because we've always just kind of been lumped into the same group and seen as the same thing, and that's why people always get confused. They don't understand how transgender is different from the LGBT community. But finally that difference has been acknowledged, that the T is separate. It was hard coming out. I'm not gonna lie, it was really difficult. I lost a lot of friends. But for every person that I lost, I gained 10 people into my life. It takes a lot. It is a very brave thing for somebody to come out as transgender. I've said it before, don't quit. It's worth it to completely just be yourself. It's freeing, it's liberating. Have at least one person in your corner. Have someone who you can talk to, who's on your side. Have just some support. And if you don't have that person, I will be that person for you. Please feel free to message me. I will do my very best to message back as fast as I can. Everybody needs to have somebody on their side, especially when you're thinking about coming out or you're thinking about starting your transition. Knowing that I'm right with God, that really helps. I talk to Him daily. I pray all the time. I have straight up conversations with Him. I also reach out to friends. I try to, at least. Usually I just go to God. I listen to music, that really helps. I go hiking, I get out in nature, walking, running, exercising. Delving, is that a word? Delving into the scriptures, feasting upon the words of Christ. I'm gonna put a bunch of resources down in the description as well for those of you who are just discovering who you are. If you're preparing to come out, preparing to start, your physical transition, I'm gonna put a bunch of links down below. Check them out, they're fantastic. They're for educational purposes as well. So for those of you who aren't trans, if you're an ally or you're just trying to understand what it is to be trans, those resources will be great for you as well. Last question. I've learned that if you live your life trying to please others, you will be miserable. Choose to be happy, be yourself, and it's so much easier when you know you've got God beside you. I promise you, He is aware of you. He is so aware. He cares so much. I know I haven't covered every single topic and answered every single question, and I'm sure that there's going to be more questions, but I really hope that this helps clarify some things at least. Please just be kind and respectful and try to understand where people are coming from. Thank you so much for watching. Change the world one person at a time. Take care. You know yourself better than anyone else. Just figuring, prepare. I can't English.